Emotions do not happen to you. You select them. I'll say that again. Emotions do not happen to you. You select them. Now, Anthony has taught me something really beautiful about choice, what it means to choose.
To me, to make a choice is to make a commitment. To make a what? Commitment. When you choose, when you make a choice, every other option is off the table. And no power in heaven or earth or below can change what you've chosen except for you. Except for who? Me.
There's a story of the Vikings who went to war. Has anyone ever seen How to Train Your Dragon before? If you haven't, go watch it. It's brilliant. So they go to fight the dragon, right? They go to slay the dragon. And this Viking story, not just in How to Train Your Dragon, but in real life, there's this story about how they sailed their ships to war, and then they set fire to their ships because they made a choice, a decision, and they have cut off all other alternatives. So making the choice to choose. Earlier today, we heard about evidence. We heard about evidence that comes up whenever we make a choice. It is no harder to choose what you want than it is what you don't want. Because you're constantly at choice. And you're constantly collecting evidence. Has anyone ever bought a new car before, or at least new to them? Raise your hands. Okay, what happened after you got that car and started driving it? What did you see everywhere on the road? That same car! Why is that? Okay, you're more aware of it. What else? Why do you see that car everywhere?
Everybody has the same taste as me.
Right! Everyone saw that you bought that car and went out and bought one too, huh?
Absolutely.
Right? That happens all the time with me.
Value in that car that I
So here's what's going on in your brain. Let's switch gears for a little minute. Here's what's going on in your brain. Our brains love to be proven right. Whenever we make a decision, we just want to know that we're right. So when we're on that road and we're driving around, our brain is collecting evidence to prove that we made a good decision. So the more of that same car it sees, the more it validates that decision that we made. The same is true for every choice that you make. So when we heard the story earlier today about my wife doesn't like me, your brain's looking for evidence, and it collected it faster and faster, didn't it? So when we're making a decision, we just get to choose what that looks like, and then our brain will say, okay, I guess this is the new programming. So it's no easier or harder to choose what it is you do want than it is what you don't want. Which brings me to the second key. Ready for number 2? Okay, the second key is investment. It's what? Investment. I can tell where you're invested by looking at your schedule and your wallet. And I can also tell where you're invested by how you spend your energy. I can tell what your life is going to look like in 6 weeks by listening to the music that you're listening to. When Anthony and I decided that our marriage came first, we invested. We invested big time. We put every last dime that we had on the line. We created time to invest in just us because we were stepping all in and burning all other options.
And what that looked like is, when we made the choice to remain married, when I manned up and made the choice to keep this amazing bride of mine and my family and actually work towards it, do you think I knew what I was doing any more than the moment before I made the decision? No, not at all. I had had no clue. So, like Marianne said earlier, we found a mentor. We found a what?
Mentor.
We found someone who had 10 times the marriage relationship we thought we wanted. And we invested money. We invested a lot of money. We invested a lot of our time because this right here is more important to me than anything else in heaven and earth. Because when it comes right down to it, if I were to lose everything else in heaven and on earth, what would I still have? You. And so we found coaches, we found mentors, we started studying, we started training, making more choices to get us where we wanted to be, which is a 10 out of 10 marriage. Where we can look at each other. And we don't have arguments anymore. I know that's hard to believe as a married couple to never have arguments, but we chose very early on in this healing process a bottom line. We chose a what? Who knows what a bottom line is? Yeah, wait, a line on the bottom. Another oracle. Excellent try. What? Before I tell you what our bottom line is, what do you think of when you think of a bottom line? Can't go any lower. Who else? Completely non-negotiable. Who else? What do you think of? Let's get one more. What do you think of when you think of bottom line? A foundation. Oh, I love that, Amy. A foundation. Marianne and I decided on a foundation that no matter what happens, no matter how we feel towards each other, no matter what the world is throwing against us, no matter who's gossiping or what darts they're throwing, we have a foundation, we have a bottom line.
I'm sorry, what were you saying? I was like totally distracted by you.
Bottom line.
I'm just like, wow, you're so dreamy. One of these things that we do is called a pattern interrupt. Has anyone ever heard of a pattern interrupt before? You've run the script so many times that you know the thing they're going to say next. When you're in an argument, you know what the reaction's going to be. You can almost predict it by the book. Has anyone ever experienced this before? Okay, you know what's coming next. The bottom line is a pattern interrupt. And it can be anything. Our pattern interrupt, as crazy as it sounds, used to be floor tuna. Because I threw a can of tuna on the floor and it just made him laugh one day. And so whenever we need a pattern interrupt, we just say that. And now here's what we say. We say, okay, stop everything. Hang on. Put the whole conversation on hold because it's not worth our time right now. What's our bottom line?
Bottom line.
I love you no matter what.
And I'm committed to the success of our marriage.
When we have that bottom line, and it can look different for everyone, when we have that bottom line, it's okay. We're wearing the same jersey here.
Yeah, let's say that again for him. Bottom line. Our bottom line. We love each other. And we are both unconditionally committed to the success of our marriage. Both of us. No matter what. That is where we stop. Everything. No matter what she is saying to me. No matter how triggered I am. No matter how much I think she may be wrong or I may be right. That belief that she loves me and is unconditionally supportive of our marriage and unconditionally supporting the success of me and our marriage changes the whole feeling of everything she's saying.
And do we disagree still? Yes, please. I hope we disagree. That's why there's two of us. Because sometimes I have really bad ideas. I need to let me see the light and say, Marianne, that's a bad idea. May I suggest a different one? That, but answer.
I have a suggestion.
I have some concerns. So of course we disagree. Of course we don't see eye to eye on everything, but we are wearing the same jersey. I would hope that we don't always agree, because there are two amazing brains, two amazing sets of experiences in this relationship that we can build on each other. That brings us to key number 3. Number 3 is go unconditional. Go unconditional. That means regardless of circumstance, regardless of time. And here's what I mean by love. Love is commitment to success. So if I have unconditional love, that means I am unconditionally committed to my success, to his success, and to the success of this third entity called our marriage.
And that means anything. Anything. Unconditional. I've heard this from Marianne's mouth so many times. Unconditional means I love you and show up in support for you whether or not you reciprocate, however long it may or may not take. Did you hear that? I love you and support you whether or not you reciprocate, no matter how long it does or does not take. The first time I heard that, I was like, what? You mean like if I get mad at her or she does something I don't like or she yells at me, which she doesn't do, but occasionally she does swear, and I love it.
Occasionally you swear? Did she say that?
Occasionally she does swear. Our daughter, our sweet little 1-year-old, rolled down the stairs the other day.
Bad words came out of my mouth.
In like this stream of invective as she's chasing the baby down the stairs. I was like, I love you. And all my life I've had a real problem with swearing. Like swearing offended me. So I was
I'm not a sailor, I promise. I promise.
No, absolutely not. In times of intense stress. And so, and what that means is, for me, that this problem I spoke of earlier, something I've dealt with, an addiction from the time I was a small child. Over 13 years of marriage, you think that popped up? You think problems with addiction popped up between us? And in the healing process, do you think they might sometimes still pop up? What this means for me is, because Marianne has chosen into our marriage, because she invests her time and her money in her connection with me, and she has chosen to be unconditional in her love and support for me, at any time, with anything, you can say, honey, this is what happened. I really, really messed up. And I'm sorry.
And I can do the same thing. I can say, you know what? I messed up. And I know it. Can you help me? Can you be my coach? Oh my gosh, I love being married to my coach.
And my best friend.
And my best friend. So in a few moments, we're going to give someone an opportunity to experience what we call in Limitless a breakthrough. And we're looking for someone who has what we call limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs is any belief that keeps you from your greatness. Any belief that sounds like, well, let's just get some examples. What are some beliefs that you've heard that could hold you back from commitment? What are some limiting beliefs around commitment, being 100% committed? I might get hurt. Okay, what are some others?
Doesn't matter what I do.
It doesn't matter what I do. Okay, what are some others?
I don't got the time.
I don't have the time. Okay, what else?
I might change my mind later.
I might change my mind later.
I might hurt her.
I might hurt her. Are there any fears that come up? Have you ever heard of anyone having fears when it comes to commitment? Yeah.
Fear of commitment.
Like the fear of commitment. Those are seeds that can bear really nasty fruit, can't they? So right now I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. And let it out. And ask yourself this question. What is the number one limiting belief that comes up for me when it comes to commitment? And once you have that belief, and if you're willing to come up and share an experience with us that may or may not involve broken glass and bare feet, I'm going to invite you to raise your hand. I'll give you 10 more seconds. All right, thank you. Go ahead and put your hands down and open your eyes. I don't see your name tag. Sean, can we give it a huge round of applause to Sean? Sean, come on up here. I'm just going to have you stand right here for me. So, Sean, would you mind sharing what came up for you?
As we try to develop this business and things of failing and just not being able to provide a living for our family and just the disappointment in my life. And so I always try to prevent that complete fall.
So if you could sum it up in one phrase, what would the limiting belief be for you?
That I'm going to fail and not have things financially secure for them.
So failure. Did anyone relate to the fear of failure? Raise your hand. Okay, look around. Look around. Look how many people are with you in this. Yeah. How does that show up for you?
Not sleeping.
Okay, so it shows up in your health?
Yeah.
Does it show up in other ways?
I don't think as clearly because I'm tired.
Okay, so it affects your personal power by not being able to
Exactly.
compute things?
Yeah. And I get so focused on going over and over things where otherwise you can find a solution and you go on.
Yes. And what will happen 5 years from now if this continues to be a belief that has space in your mind?
Like the last 5 years, I wouldn't have gone where I want to be.
Yeah, except you had 10 years of it instead of 5, right?
Right.
And time is a resource that we can't get more of. If we lose money, we can get more money. If we lose health, we can get that back. If we lose time, unless anyone's found a time machine, I'm not seeing any hands up, that's something we can't get back. So right now I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. What's the first memory that comes to mind when you think of this fear of failure?
When I was 6 or 7,
What's going on in this memory?
I was left in charge of all the kids at the house. Well, parents were out working. I had to do the shopping and things for work. I wasn't going to get something done. I was responsible for how angry I would be.
So you're 7 years old and you're left in charge, basically.
Yeah, I've got 2 other kids and have to watch and do the ironing and do some of the meals for by the time my parents get home.
And if they got home and that wasn't done, what would happen?
That would come and start hitting somebody.
Yeah. So there's a real fear there. And sometimes there's perceived trauma and sometimes there's real trauma. And they can affect you the same way. And so this fear, maybe to a 7-year-old, it's a real life is on the line fear. And so I'm going to invite you to go back to that moment. Go back to that 7-year-old. And feel that fear, that heavy responsibility. More than a 7-year-old that I've ever heard can handle. And be happy at the same time. What was it you decided about yourself in that moment?
I was a lot tougher than I thought I could be to do it all. I could do it. I was responsible to do the shopping and come home.
And yet, it still shows up. This fear still shows up. Okay, so the decision you made about yourself was that you couldn't do it?
Yeah.
Can't do it all. And how, since you were 7, it's been a couple years, how, since you were 7, has that shown up for you? This idea that you can't do it.
All my life, with my kids and my wife, I've just on edge to make sure everything's taken care of. Complete, that, you know, if I fail, there's this trouble coming.
So this sword over your head at all times, proverbially speaking, of trouble coming if I don't.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you something. Is this a belief that you'd like to share in your life?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to invite you to open your eyes. What is a belief that would serve you better? Rather than, I can't do it. What is a belief that would serve you better?
That I can do it.
You can't do it. Let's get some more ideas. What are some ideas? A new belief that would serve you better. I can succeed. Or maybe, I succeed.
I am successful.
I am successful.
I live in intuition and I trust the process.
I live in intuition and I trust the process. Let's get a couple more.
I'm strong.
I'm strong. Do any of those resonate with you? Which one would be the best one for you in this moment?
Like the intuition and strong that I can really trust. Trust my Father, but it's not going to let me fail doing this or not going to let me completely fall.
So let's write that in one phrase for your new belief. What would that look like in your words?
I totally put all my trust in my Heavenly Father, that He's not going to let me completely fall, that I will live through it, but I can.
Let's try on this. I trust and I succeed.
I trust and I succeed.
How does that feel?
Warm.
Does it feel better than the other one that wasn't working for
Yeah.
you?
I mean, the other one was shaky and scary.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason for that because lies often don't hold up.
Yeah.
So let's go back. Go ahead and close your eyes. Back to that 7-year-old. Now you've got a life preserver with you. Who is a person that 7-year-old trusts that can show up for him right now?
My wife would be
Okay, so imagine you're 7 years old and your sweet wife is there. And she knows your entire timeline. She knows how this belief is going to show up for you from now on. And she wants something better for you. And she shows up as her highest and best self to that 7-year-old. What happens next?
helps me when I'm about to forget what I need to do and reminds me of all the things I need to get done, so I don't have to panic about those things.
Yeah. And what are the words that she shares with you?
It's okay. It's okay, we're in this together.
And how does that feel? And if this 7-year-old boy could go and do anything that he wanted, regardless of time, money, circumstance, geography, anything, with this wonderful angel that showed up for him, what would he want to go do?
Lodge, bring people, do retreats.
A 7-year-old wants to conduct retreats? That's an amazing 7-year-old.
I was thinking of the future.
What does a 7-year-old want to go do? How does he want to celebrate?
A lot of friends had time to play and do more things. I would want to go with them and we built a lot of forts.
Oh my gosh, okay, so let's go build a fort. You've got 7-year-old self, you've got this amazing angel of a wife, and you're going out and you're building forts, and you're building tree houses, and you're building cabins, because that 7-year-old really did want to build a cabin. And he needed a retreat center, didn't he? So in your eyes, in your mind's eye, envision that cabin right now. Envision the chandeliers, envision the color of the paint on the walls, envision how the carpet feels. And your wife is there next to you and you're looking over this beautiful cabin. And it feels so fulfilling. What is the final piece of advice she's come back to give you?
Hold your hands together.
Because you trusted. And you were courageous. So with that energy, bring all of that yumminess from that time back to this. Just healing through all of the fears. Lord, I want you to open your eyes and stand in this present moment. What is the new belief that serves you?
Together we can face anything. It's safe. Safe.
I want to invite you to step into this 100%. Are you ready? So in a moment, I'm going to have my team come and help me. They're going to create this experience for us. And we won't be needing your choosing sauce. So I'm going to hold this for you. You can go ahead and move the team. Come on up. You're standing
This looks scary.
So I'm going to give this to you. What's going through your mind right now?
Remind me of when I used to have dead bees all over the warehouse and had it on point stingers.
Is that, what? Tell me what you're holding there. Is that real glass? I wouldn't know. So we've got a choice before us, don't we?
Yeah.
So I will tell you that if you choose to cross this glass, you are totally a choice in doing so. And there is a wonderful experience possible here for you. I will also tell you that the glass is sharp, and there's a possibility that you could cut your feet. I will also tell you that there's a possibility you won't cut your feet, and that your feet will remain completely whole. Who's determining what kind of outcome you experience? Yeah. And what kind of outcome would you like to experience?
Not guts.
So let me tell you something really fascinating about how the human brain works. The human brain is like Google. So if you type into Google, don't show me pictures of cats, what's it going to show you? Pictures of cats. An endless stream of them. Okay? I know because I contributed some. So our brains work the same way. So if we're telling our brains, don't get cut, don't get cut, don't get cut, it doesn't have a picture for no. So what is our brain looking for? Cut, cut, cut. So what would be an outcome that would serve you?
Not getting cut. Save my space over there, not me hurting.
So rather than saying not getting cut, because that's telling our brain what to look for, because there's no picture for no, right? Even if the no smoking sign is a picture of a cigarette with a line through it, right? So if we're going to say, I don't get cut, we might be better served if we said something like, I cross the glass and my feet remain completely white. Try that on. See what I think.
I can cross this glass and my feet are whole.
Now let's drop the can and put it in present tense.
I will cross this glass and my feet will be whole.
Now let's drop the will and put it in present tense.
Cross this glass and my feet will
Now who's going to do it? So try this on. I cross this glass and my feet remain whole.
Right now. Yeah, just go up by where the photographer
So before you, isn't it amazing how powerful words are?
you know.
I read somewhere in a book that's hundreds of years old that said, by the power of words, worlds were and are created. Our words are very powerful things, and you know that. So I'm going to invite you to step up to the glass. And what we're going to do is we're going to have you say your name. And then you're going to declare your new intention. And as you cross the glass, there'll be a steadying hand for you. And as you come to the other side, we've got Jamie here who's going to wipe the bottoms of your feet so you don't take home any souvenirs.
Okay.
And we've got your wife, On the other side, ready to receive you.
I can do this.
How about I do this? So go ahead and state your name and your new belief.
I would cross this glass without hurting my
And my feet remain whole. And what's your new belief about the power of trusting yourself? That breakthrough you just had about that little boy who's 7 years old, the boy who trusts himself and he has courage. What is your new belief?
I can do it with my wife's help.
How about I do it with my wife's help?
I do it with my wife's help.
So my name is Sean, and I do it with my wife's help.
I am Sean and I do it with my wife's help.
And I believe. I want you to stop right there. Feel the glass beneath you.
Oh, yes. It's okay, though. It's okay.
I want you to turn to this audience and declare with the most power that is authentic to you your name and your new belief. And when they believe you, they are going to stand up.
I'm Sean, and I can do anything with my wife's help. Let's see if my feet are okay. We can attack it together. We can do this together. Anything we put our minds to, we do it together. We succeed together. We're going to trust our intuition as we go forward in our new projects. And make great choices together. Trust me. And I trust her.
Let's hear it for Sean. Oh my gosh. It's so amazing. I cannot wait to see what you and your wife create together. Thank you. In that moment, we're going to open up the glass to any one of you who would like to take the opportunity to cross it. So one more time, I'm going to have you close your eyes. Think of the limiting belief that came up for you. And before you approach the glass, I'm going to invite you to step into a new belief. When you have that new belief, go ahead and raise your hand. What is the new belief that will serve you better? Go ahead and open your eyes. Raise your hand if you have that new belief that you'd like to share. Troy.
A new belief. That I have courage. I have love for myself.
Excellent.
To forgive myself.
You go ahead and turn to the person next to you and share with them the new belief that will serve you moving forward. Switch if you haven't already. And stop. Now, those of you that would like to participate in this glass walk have the ability to do so. And what we're going to do is have you line up on this side. You'll have your shoes and your socks in your hand. And And as you approach the glass, you'll carry them across with you. You'll state your name, your new belief, and we'll offer a guiding hand should you need it across the glass, and then we'll have your glass removed from your feet if there's any souvenirs, and you'll pass through on the other side. So if this is an experience you'd like to have, we invite you to line up right now.